And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the late night show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the late night show, not recap, podcast for the website, cpluscomic.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. If you heard a little bit of a laugh in the middle of the theme song, well, I was looking at myself in the monitor, and then I just had the heaviest sigh. And then I realized, oh, that was too loud. So here we go. Here we are. Welcome back to Late Night. Lately, it's where I talk about late night things happening at late night. If you'll excuse me, I have to pull up one more link because I forgot to do it. Please don't. Let's not make noise. Let's not make noise. Anyway, let's get on with what happened this week in late night. What is the first thing? Okay, Jimmy Kimmel. I don't have anything in order. Jimmy Kimmel was on this week. Everybody was on but The Daily Show. And it was a great week for guests. John Mulaney, who we'll get to in a second, came on and talked about everything that he hasn't been on Kimmel in a while, so I don't know. I don't recall the last time he was on, but he came on and talked about everything. It was a nice 18-minute interview. Jack Quaid was also there, and SZA, Joel McHale, and also Ellen Pompeo and David Blaine. Also, I had no idea Jack Nicholson had a child, and Dennis Leary had a child. Jack Nicholson has a child, has a young gentleman son who was the same age as me. And I thought, God. And then, so Jack Nicholson's 87 years old. Anyway, Ray Nicholson was also on, talking about a movie he was in. He's also in, he wasn't even promoting this movie. He was in Novocaine as well. Anyway, that's what that is. Andy Richter, Tien Tran, and Guy Branum popped up on After Midnight alongside other wonderful people like Kurt Brownohler and Trixie Mattel. Trixie, I believe I follow on Peloton. I follow one drag queen. I believe so because she appeared on. Nope, not Trixie Mattel. Hyper Bloom. That is Trixie Mattel. It is Trixie Mattel. Okay, I think. Anyway, because I believe she was in a class with Maddie Madrachimo. Anyway, Atsuko Okatsuka and Jillian Jacobs. It was a great group of people this week. I still think that for this show in particular, they need to branch out a little bit more because on At Midnight, yes, they did have their regulars, but they also had a bunch of other people. All right, I got to move on because I think this might be a longer episode. On Late Night with Seth Meyers, Natasha Rothwell, Colin Quinn, Parker Posey, Michael Costa, Chimita Gozi, Adichie, Caitlin Olsen, Don Johnson, Amanda Seyfried. It was also a wonderful week for the bits because A Closer Look was fantastic all week long, as usual. Oh, and Robert De Niro. But then also we had You Burnt. I love You Burnt. You Burnt's fantastic. You Burnt's one of my favorite things that show pumps out. On the Tonight Show, Chet Hanks stopped by. This is his late night debut, as did comedian Heather Pasternak. She did some stand-up. Jesse Eisenberg, Brenda Peters, Dwayne Wade. It's also great to see Shaggy and Sting perform a song together. It's so fun because like these are top musicians, and yet the views on these videos are so low. Do people not like Shaggy and Sting? If one of my favorite musical artists appeared with another legendary musical artist, I'd be watching that performance and listening to it no matter what. Also, Anthony Michael Hall was there as well. I like Anthony Michael Hall. He's doing a great job on Reacher. He is. He's doing a fantastic job. On The Late Show, Michael Fassbender stopped by along with Uzo Aduba, Ezra Klein, Nathan Lane, and Kate Blanchett. It's also, and I believe that's it, right? And Gary Oldman was featured in one episode. I like the idea of giving a legendary actor such as Gary Oldman his own entire episode. But don't break up the interviews into 4 parts when one part is 11 minutes and the others are 5. Don't do that. What was I going to say? Oh, I think Ezra Klein's a great guy, very smart. I listen to his podcast. Sometimes he puts out a lot of hour-long episodes every day. And they're all well written, but I can only take so much news in my ears. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about one thing and one thing only. Everybody's live in LA with John Mulaney. I'm going to press play and we're just going to let it go. It was the premiere of the show. How come I can't watch it? How come it's not playing? Oh, how dare you? It's not playing. It's in black. Ridiculous. Anyway, because it knows I'm about to show it on on OBS. I was gonna play it picture in picture with. It was gonna be a whole thing. Anyway, Everybody's Live with John Mulaney is the title of the show. Not Everybody's in LA. It's a spinoff from Everybody's in LA, or a continuation of the show. It's going to be, for now, picked up for 2 seasons. And now in this first season, it's going to be 12 weeks long. Just an hour-long talk show where Mulaney sits down with a panel of guests, more or less 2 or 3 or 4 famous people, alongside one person who specializes in the knowledge of the topic at hand. And unlike other talk shows, Everybody's Live is a show that is just not supposed to be. It's like evergreen, you know. It doesn't follow along with what every other talk show is doing. Maybe I should just reload the page. It's ridiculous. Or maybe I'll just bring it up on the iPad. Can't play it on the iPad, but all right, I'll bring it up on the iPad. It was when the show started, when the episode started, you if you watched Everybody's in LA, and you should have watched it live last year. You knew what it was going to be. It was going to be a 3/4 baked talk show with caller interaction and some live bits, and it was going to be true to the fact live. The show ultimately, when you boil it down, works. I have no negatives about it. And I can't say that about many shows. Can't say that about many talk shows. But Mulaney comes out affable as ever and really just puts the show where it's supposed to be. You're not going to he's not pretending that the show is this thing that's been running for years and it's a smooth ship all over. No, it's a show that is this show. It is in itself a live show, and there's going to be mistakes, and there's also going to be those prepared bits. There's going to be pre-tapes and everything. So let's just go through it one by one. I'm just going to have to go through the timeline myself. They did it. They had a theme song, the same theme song with the... Good Lord. I know for a fact that I have the song saved on my platform of choice. 2 offline songs. Sorry. To Live and Die in LA by Wang Chung is the theme song. It fits the aesthetic. They have these nice kind of 80s VCR lines going through the theme song. He does a a monologue. And what feels so good about it is that he has a clipboard in his hand. Mulaney. He comes out and he's just delivering jokes. Richard Kind is introduced and he has a little happy birthday bit. They talk to each other for a time. They go back and forth, and it's a good chunk of time spent just getting to know the show. It's a nice introduction. Mulaney, I believe, also calls the show Netflix's mistake, which is very funny. He introduced the topic, which they talk about. The first episode is lending people money, and they bring out a financial advisor alongside Michael Keaton, and the two of them join Mulaney in a conversation about lending people money. You learn about Richard Kind has lent out on 3 separate occasions to 3 different people $10,000. Not expecting to get that money back, but he got the money back, I believe, 2 out of 3 times. Then they bring back Samo, the robot that rides up and down Los Angeles sidewalks delivering people food. If you haven't seen it, it is a real thing. A robot will go to a convenience store on a little scooter. I don't know. I guess there's people down the block who put the food in there or the drinks or whatever, but then it'll just like go down the street and it'll be, and you pick it up and you take the food and whatever, and then you just let the robot go on its way. I'm sure people destroy those things. We can't have nice things. They take some phone calls from people, which is nice. Because, again, you don't have to just sit and talk to Michael Keaton about, hey, tell us about Batman. Tell us about this. Tell us about that. Like, you don't have to talk about that. He can do that on every other late night show. Here, he can talk about lending people money, which is great. Joan Baez and Fred Armisen come out. I almost forget Fred Armisen's name, but Joan Baez is right there. And Joan is such a delight. She's such a treat. She comes out and she's relaxed. I think in part because the show has such low stakes as opposed to a show like Jimmy Kimmel Live or The Tonight Show or the Late Show where you have to perform. This Everybody's Live with John Mulaney is much in the same way as After Midnight, because there's just nothing to it. After Midnight, you're playing a game, and the only people you really have to impress are the audience, and all you have to do is be funny. As opposed to when you pop up on Late Night with Seth Meyers, you don't have to worry about being funny, and he'll shepherd the show, but you also have to be interesting. Whereas on After Midnight and Everybody's Live with John Mulaney, you just have to be there and be yourself. Be chill. Let's see. Joan Baez and Fred Armisen also joined the conversation about lending people money. And it went by quick. It was 57 minutes long. I did not watch it live, but it was a really quick show. I was watching. I'll tell you this. I usually do yoga on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays because Tuesdays and Thursdays are my heaviest days in the gym. Even on my light weeks, they're my heaviest days because it's legs and it's on Tuesday, and it's boxing on Thursday. Boxing and a lot of HIIT and a lot of other cardio things, which is great. I've been doing it for 8 years. I've been doing that exact schedule for 8 years. But I do yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays to alleviate some of the stresses that I put on my body, even on light weeks for those days. And I was admittedly putting off doing yoga, watching this show. And as soon as the show ended, it was like, oh man, I gotta do yoga. I love doing yoga. I just didn't feel like doing it. Tracy Morgan stopped by to pretend to be a prince, and it was a good because they did these audience bits with like Will Ferrell sitting in the audience as a Laker magnate. I'm just making something up, but that's what they did in Everybody's Live and or Everybody's in LA with John Mulaney. They took more callers, and then they had a final prepared piece with Christopher Lloyd as well as some other people who were in Death of a Salesman, I believe. It played the same character. And then Cypress Hill performed with an orchestra And it was good. It was a good performance. During the performance, they cut to the the personal finance woman who was a guest on the show, Joan Baez, and Fred Armisen dancing, and it was so great. It was amazing to see the three of them just having the time of their lives. I mean, I loved it so much. How come Keaton didn't get in there? But Everybody's Live with John Mulaney is an excellent show. It's an excellent show, and I'm glad that Netflix is. This is going to sound stupid, but taking a chance on it, and it works. It works. Don't talk shows, TV shows in general. They're not movies. They're not things, especially shows that are being in the process of being made. A show that's on broadcast that lasts 22 episodes, 16 episodes. Those are still being made. They don't shoot all of that at once. So they have a case in point, the St. Denis Medical, the episode that aired this week. They changed up the theme song. They are doing a lot more things like The Office as opposed to just being their own self. If you watch St. Denis Medical, and also what's the Abbott Elementary and The Office, you'll see that St. Denis Medical is really turning towards Abbott Elementary and The Office territory, which is not necessarily bad, but the show was funny beforehand. Take that as you will. I don't think Abbott Elementary is that funny. So with the show, I see headlines for reviews, and I don't read reviews, but I see headlines for reviews saying, it's funny, but things along those lines, and it's again, these shows take time, and even Mulaney said we were hitting our groove in episode 6, and then it ended. He says that in his monologue, and when you look at it totality, it's going to take a couple of episodes for it to be what you want it to be, and also what Netflix wants it to be, which is why that's probably one of the reasons why they picked up the show for 2 seasons. They're going to be doing the show for 12 weeks straight. I don't know. I can't say that happens for Last Week Tonight, because that's another magazine style show where they do 1 episode a week. Well, Last Week Tonight is a magazine style show. Well, that's 60 Minutes is a magazine style show, but I'm throwing Last Week Tonight in that because you can have one magazine that's about one thing. Nintendo Power is about one thing. Xbox Magazine was about one thing. God, I miss video game magazines. Oh my goodness. I miss video game magazines so much. Just like not knowing about a video game and reading about it and just seeing pictures and going, God, this is going to be good. And then like 3 months later or 6 months later or whatever, the game comes out. It's okay, but that's all you had. You didn't have all this information. You didn't know about Avowed so much. Things weren't sitting in the back of your head while you're playing Avowed. You didn't know. Balatro wasn't on your mind. Well, Balatro was on your mind, but then when you sit, you're like, oh, this is stupid, and then you finally sit down and play it. I don't know what to say there. I like Balatro. I like Avowed. I'm not necessarily good at either because I don't play them every day. And when I do play them, it's for like 10 minutes at a time. I got to get those Microsoft rewards. I got to earn those points. So I could pay for more Game Pass and not play any games. Where was I? Everybody's Live with John Mulaney is great. I want to see more. At the end of the 12 weeks, I'm sure they're going to go on a summer break and then just like every other talk show, and then pop back up in September or October and then we'll get another set of episodes then. I wonder what is going to change between this episode and episode 12, and then also when they come back from break. Which again, I'm just throwing out random months for when they will come back. I like it a lot. It's very funny. I mean, I don't have to keep saying that. It's very funny. It's very funny, but it's right up my alley. That's something that works for me in the same way that I like it when Seth Meyers goes on funny little tangents or messes up, and he blames his crew jokingly. The same way I think Conan's great when he notes just how poor the production is on whatever sketches he's doing for whatever production he's in. And this is a show that if you gave this kind of subject or topic or style of show, and I'm sorry if you heard the creaking of the mic arm, but I'm not buying a new one. And it sounds like this. Oh, I do have oil. I could probably oil it down. Ooh, make it nice and smooth. Then I could be moving my arm left and right. Let me pause this really quick. But if you gave this style of show to any other host, it wouldn't work. And that's not just saying any late night host, anybody who would eventually take on the reins of a show in the same genre. For the first time, it feels like a late night show was built from the ground up. Actually, not for the first time. I feel like Samantha Bee's show was built, obviously it was built from the ground up for her, but I'm just saying it was built from the ground up and it fits perfectly. It fits in. Like everything just works. Samantha Bee's show, Full Frontal on TBS, was perfect for who she is and for what it was aiming to do. Everybody's Live and with John Mulaney is the exact same thing. The original iteration of At Midnight, After Midnight, is good because it's doing what it's supposed to do for today's day and age, but the predecessor, At Midnight, was good for doing what After Midnight is doing now, but back then, when social media compared to today was nascent and it was this smaller thing and we had way less successful platforms. In reality, there were multiple successful platforms, but like less ones where things weren't sort of splintered, because now here you could, in today's time, you could do, unfortunately, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Mastodon, TikTok, YouTube. But back then it was Twitter, Facebook, Vine, YouTube. And even then, those were much smaller and you would get a lot more focus on Twitter. When it was good. Ugh. And what other show? I'm thinking of one more show that feels like it was for them. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's show, I think. But all those shows, with the exception of At Midnight, Everybody's Live with John Mulaney, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Full Frontal, they have the host names in the show indicating a sense of ownership, whereas The Tonight Show, After Midnight, The Late Show, The Late Late Show, and Late Night were all inherited shows, and you can't really change the formula. You know, if I'm a person, an Italian person, I guess, I don't know, I couldn't name anybody else, but I have a pasta sauce recipe that's been passed down for generations, and then it's given to me, and then I change it up a little bit. Guess who's that's going to piss off? It's going to piss off my noni. I'm not kidding. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I like Everybody's Live. I'm going to say it one more time. And I can't wait for next week's episode. It's going to be great. And it feels very homey, where I remember the very first episode of each one of these late night shows, they felt like there was a general celebration for the fact that they were on. For Late Night with Seth Meyers and The Tonight Show and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and The Late Late Show, they had to prime those people and really just pep up the audience, and that's what that was. But for Everybody's Life with John Mulaney, Mulaney came on as if the show had been on for years, and he was apologizing for forgetting to shoot an episode. Great. Check it out. Here's one thing, though. Here's one thing they can change. And this is a Netflix problem. In order for I turned on the audio source for, this is a little behind the scenes. I turned on the audio source for the theme song for the iPad. Because I was getting ready to end the show, and I just remembered the thing that I was mad at when I was trying to find clips for the show. Every single late night show has a YouTube channel. They have a TikTok portal. They have an Instagram portal. They've got a Twitter or a Blue Sky. They've got a Facebook page, I think. I assume they have all those things, but they definitely do have a YouTube channel. Netflix, for whatever reason, is only uploading everybody's live clip, not clips, clip. And it was like a third of the monologue. They uploaded that to a Netflix YouTube account. I don't know if it was Still Watching or Netflix is a joke. I don't know which one. But that's all they uploaded. And I don't think that's you're doing a disservice to the show. When David Letterman and Jon Stewart left their shows, they when they left the Daily Show and when Letterman left Late Show, those shows were not uploading to YouTube. They weren't uploading clips. You had to go to CBS.com or ComedyCentral.com in order to find clips, or just, hope somebody pirated it somewhere. When the new hosts were brought in, when Trevor Noah was brought in for The Daily Show, and when Colbert was brought in for The Late Show, then they got with the modern times and started uploading clips from those eras of hosts. Era of hosts. I don't know. Eras of hosts. There's still not a lot of Jon Stewart, pre-Trevor Noah Jon Stewart clips on YouTube or available to watch anywhere. And Letterman owns his own stuff, so he's uploading it to his own YouTube channel, which is what I wish Conan would do. I just found Conan O'Brien YouTube channel, which is a official YouTube channel for Conan O'Brien, but it's all the stuff from late night. And I think there's a couple of Tonight Show things on there, but there's all the stuff from late night. And then on the Team Coco channel, that used to be just like strictly clips from Conan on TBS. But now it's also, because now they'll do one of those clips and then they'll do all the podcasting stuff. What they should do is the Team Coco channel should now just be all podcasting stuff. Let that stuff live there. And then the Conan O'Brien channel should be everything that was originally posted on Team Coco, which is the Conan stuff, plus the late night stuff, plus the Tonight Show stuff. That's what I would do. And if they could somehow talk to Sundar Pichai at Google, or go to YouTube and say, can we move all of the Conan stuff from Team Coco to Conan O'Brien so that I can unsubscribe from Team Coco and stop seeing these podcasts? The Google Home Max turned on because I said something. So anyway, ever since every single talk show in the past decade has been uploading to YouTube ever since. For the Late Late Show, we didn't. Well, also Craig Ferguson. We didn't have any Craig Ferguson clips. For the Late Late Show, it took James Corden hosting that show for them to upload stuff. And we can really thank Jimmy Kimmel for doing that. I mentioned it before. They were a big proponent of making viral videos, especially with I'm effing Matt Damon and things like that, and also Jimmy Fallon, whose show really helped with viral videos as well. So Netflix should not. And then also Amber Ruffin's show that was on Peacock. They straight up just put like entire episodes just chunked out into 4 segments more or less. I'm still subscribed to that. Oh, I thought that show would come back. So Netflix is doing disservice to Everybody's Live with John Mulaney. I mean, you're the biggest streaming platform. You're the biggest streaming platform on the planet. People are going to subscribe to you no matter what. Not everybody's going to watch Everybody's Live with John Mulaney. It's just not going to get those numbers. It's not going to get the numbers you want. But if you chunk out episode clips and make them shareable on a separate YouTube channel, Everybody's Live with John Mulaney YouTube channel, you're going to get views and you're going to get money from YouTube. And then you can also clip out some of those things, put it on TikTok. You'll get money from TikTok. That's how it works. Okay, now I'm done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people all the time. I just talked to the cast of... this is so embarrassing. The Hunting Party. It's because I recorded 2 interviews this week. I just recorded, let's see, this episode is 32 minutes long right now. 36 minutes ago, I finished an interview with somebody else. So allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hope, but allow me to be stupid for 2 seconds. Oh, I was right. Everybody's in LA is on the Netflix is a Joke channel, and then one single clip from Everybody's Live with John Mulaney is on the Still Watching Netflix channel. Anyway, if you want to see a video version of this show, as well as a video version of the interviews, including my one with the cast of The Hunting Party, as well as future ones that I recorded today and earlier this week, go to youtube.com. And then also, as well as the Constitutionals podcast, which is the Entertainment Business News podcast, and LinkedIn Logs. You can find all those videos, every single video I've ever done on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram @cpluscomedy. Me, @ShadowBlackWhite. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.